Welcome back to RBI. We're here with Hall of Fame coach Lou Henson, here with more for a guy I had the honor and privilege of being one of his student managers back in the old Flying Illini days. And Coach, we've come a long way, but you know, I'm so proud of you that you finally achieved that Hall of Fame status. The ceremony in Kansas City when you were inducted, when you finally achieved that goal, what was that like for you?
It was really exciting. Of course, I never thought that would come, Ryan, because there are a lot of
779 wins, actually more than that, but that's for another show.
There are a lot of coaches out there that are not in, so I feel great about that. But that was quite an experience there. Got a chance to see a lot of the pro players who are in there, and there were 5 and 3 coaches when I was in there. And you know what's really interesting in that? We had 55 family members come to that, from Seattle to New York, and it was a great get-together because we'll never probably get together again. And they enjoyed that. It was a great experience, and get a chance to visit with all those coaches. We really had a good time there.
It's a well-deserved honor, but obviously when you were going through your coaching career, did you ever think about being in the Hall of Fame one day, or was that a goal of yours, or anything like that?
Ryan, when I graduated from New Mexico State, I was a player there, and I tried to get any little job I could get. Couldn't get a job. So I stayed on, got my master's that year, and helped coach the varsity. And finally I got a job, and I thought, well, you know, I'd just like to get a high school job and maybe keep it for a while. I had no idea that it might go to this.
Well, when you came to Illinois in 1975, did you think you'd have your name on the court, you know, 40 years later?
Yeah, and let me tell you a story about that. I never applied for a job because I had good teams at Hardin-Simmons, the high school, and then New Mexico State. I was AD and head coach, and so I didn't want to go anyplace. Never applied for a job. One morning, Cecil called me from the University of Illinois, and he said, "Lou, would you like to come up for an interview?" Now, when he was AD at 2 different schools, and I was AD, I got to know him. He had seen my ball clubs play, and since he asked me, I kind of felt he was going to give me the job. Would you believe Wade Walker from Oklahoma called me that afternoon?
The same day?
The same day.
Wow.
And he said, "Lou, we want you to come in and interview for this job." And I said, "Wade, I'm going to Illinois. I'll be there on Thursday. When I get back, I'll come over." "No, this is your home state. You grew up right around here. We need you here. We want you to come in before." I said, "Well, maybe." He said, "You got relatives?" "Oh yeah, come in 3 or 4 days early and visit with them, and then we'll interview you." We'll bring the committee into Tulsa, and it won't be hard for you. My sister lives right there.
Right.
I said, "I'll do it." So I go in there and interview for the job. After the committee left, and Wade said, "Now Lou, look, we want you here. We'll pay you exactly what we're paying Barry Switzer." Now, you know, Barry had won 2 national titles. He had great races. There's no telling what he was getting. And then he said, "We're paying Barry $30,000. I want to say, "Now, Wade, what is he really getting?" So
at that time, and you've shared this with me before, Oklahoma had great facilities. They were in much better shape than Illinois was at that time in 1975. So you come here. How'd you make the decision to come to Illinois instead of staying in your home state?
Good. I'm glad you brought that up because, and you're right, they had facility. John McLeod had been a coach. He went to pros, and those guys coming back. And well, anyway, I called Mary after I interviewed that, and my wife Mary, and I said, "Now let me tell you about the 2 clubs, and I'm going to call you on the way to Illinois, and you tell me what you think." Well, I said, "Now here's Oklahoma, hometown. Everybody wants me to come back here, and they got everything. I got everything I wanted. And now let me tell you about Illinois. It's in shambles. They had been to the NCAA one time, 24 years, bad teams. Recruiting is bad. It's bad. But you look at the 2 programs. I'm going to call you. Tell me what you think." On the way to Illinois, I stopped in, made a call. I said, "Okay, sweetheart, what do you think?" She said, "Illinois." I said, you got to have rocks in your head. What do you mean, Illinois?" "That's my home state."
And that was that. But you know what? We know that your wife, Mary Henson, is the real assistant coach in your life, and she has yet to make a bad decision.
Yeah,
she hadn't lost a game yet.
You don't know about them.
Has she tried to help you coach?
Yeah, but here's another thing. I mentioned this last night. Mary was an outstanding student, English, and I barely got through English classes. So she's been a great help in a lot of areas, but she's good. She's really good, comes from a good family. And we've got 4 kids, and they're all doing well. So we're really pleased with the family situation.
Yeah, but Mary's been there to help you through the good times and the bad throughout it all. I mean, just how much has she meant to you in your life?
I don't believe a coach can survive without a good wife, particularly if you're going to have some problems along the way, and all coaches do. All coaches do. yeah, she's been great. And so she's great at PRs. She's smart, does a lot of good. The only thing bothers me, she tries to get into coaching every now and then.
She's been a wonderful team mom. There's no doubt about that. Coach, you've enjoyed great success, obviously being honored here at Illinois with the naming of Lou Henson Court, being inducted into the Hall of Fame, but you've also had to persevere through some adversity with health over the last decade, also various times in your life, heartbreaking loss of your son. How did you get through those times? How were you able to deal with that?
Well, of course, the worst was my son. He was coaching at Parkland here, and they had a game on Tuesday night. Back then, coaches, you couldn't see your son play, so all the family went out to see him play, and he came by after the game, and he had the tape, and I said, well, Lou, let me have the tape, and I'll look at it, and we'll talk about it on Friday or Saturday. And he said, well, I'll take it, and we'll look at it this weekend. So he's lived outside of town. It's the first day of deer season. It is raining gusty, and deers cross between here and Danville all the time. And somebody who saw him jerk his car, they didn't see the deer, but they was trying to dodge a deer. He had a culvert and turned over, and it killed him. And that was quite a loss. And on my health, I was 73. I had no health issues, no ulcers. And I went, and our team physician here, John Kerouac, and so I went to get a physical for 35 years, and it punched around on my stomach. I thought, now this is a waste of time. Why am I here? Well, that one morning it wasn't. I had a big tumor, and I found out it's stage 4, which it doesn't get any higher. And after 1 year, got it in remission. But what happened? The chemo was so strong that it came down with viral encephalitis, which is worse than the cancer. I had to recruit. I went back to coach because they fired the coach at New Mexico State, and I was going to coach for a while. And so we had a recruit in. We took him out to eat that night, and I said, I'll see you tomorrow morning for breakfast. That was Las Cruces, New Mexico. I didn't wake up for 3.5 weeks. It wasn't in coma all the time, but a lot of the time. And but I didn't remember anything, and that was 3.5 weeks later, and I came out, my leg was paralyzed. I knew nothing. See, it's inflammation of the brain. I knew nothing. The first question they asked me, Coach, who discovered America? And I was thinking, now I've got to come up with that. I've got to come up with that. And kept thinking, and I started, would you repeat the question? Well, of course, so I started, I couldn't do anything. But I got better and better. My leg was paralyzed for several months. And then my physician goes to the same breakfast club I do. And after about 3.5 months or 4, he said, now, are you trying to move your big toe? And I said, yeah, I try to move my finger, big toe really. And so he said, now, if you don't get movement in another month and a half, you'll never be able to use that leg again. Well, I was in watching television, probably watching one of your sports shows. And so I started trying to move my big toe, and I could move it just about like that. That was a breakthrough. And it got better and better and better. And so now I still have a limp and a little bit of a problem, but I'm doing really well.
Well, it's good to hear that, and even recently you had a couple challenges and doing much better, and to be able to sit here and talk with you and spend time with you, and because we noticed at the game that people just want to be around you and touch you, and because you represent the greatness of Illinois basketball, but what does it do for you when you're around these people and they show you so much love?
Well, yeah, it's great for us because I like to be around people, and we have so much support in every area, and that's really nice. But this last problem I had, and I'll share it with you, it was back in the summer. I was feeling bad, and my wife and my daughters took me to the hospital that Sunday night, and they ran tests Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the doctor came in and said, Coach, it's all negative. I said, fantastic. He said, no, we're going to give you a bone marrow. I got a bone marrow and come to find out pre-leukemia, and which is bad. But I will have to take chemo the rest of my life and medication. You can't get full blown because it's over if you do that. Right. So I'm on that medication. So I do that, I'm good for a long time. I'll be around you for a long time.
Well, we want that, Coach, that's for sure. One thing I know about you, you don't quit. You're a fighter, and it's going to take a lot more than cancer or some other things to take you out of the game for sure. How much do you keep an eye on Illinois basketball now with what Coach Gross is doing and trying to get the program back to the level it was when you left here? Yeah,
I keep up with Illinois all the time. I watch games all the time, and I like John. He's a tremendous coach. Now he's got good talent, but he probably needs to get better talent. It still goes back to talent. but he can get the job done. I just hope he has a little better luck he's had bad luck, and this year all kinds
With
of
the
injuries.
yeah.
Terrible injuries.
Have you ever seen anything like
No,
that?
I haven't seen any team have this many injuries.
In one after another, but on the bright side, during this, it feels like a brand new building. The Assembly Hall has been around. It's the State Farm Center now. This will really help with recruiting, don't you think? Having players come in and
Ryan, there's
see
no
this
question
atmosphere.
about it. Hey, when players come in to see you, they look at the arena, they look at the locker rooms, they look at your weight room, they look at all those things. All of those things play a very important part in whether you get a kid or not.
Now, I'm sure you're thinking, why wasn't it like this when I was coaching? Wasn't this comfortable, was it?
Ryan, you remember Huff Hall?
In the basement there.
Think
in the
about how
locker
bad
room,
it was. Now they've renovated it twice, and still it's not much of a place.
But you know what? It got the job done at the time,
Yes,
didn't it?
it sure did.
It did, and you know, you look at it, you see this beautiful court in Lou Henson Court, but you're going to be around forever as long as your name's on the court.
That's right. I'll be around forever, and it's really good to visit with you. You were more than a manager. You were my coach. We went on recruiting trips. We did all this, and I really enjoyed our relationship. And it's great to visit with you today.
Absolutely. You know, someone asked me a memory about, you know, give me a Coach Henson story. I said, well, it was one particular day of practice. You may not remember this. Somebody kicked the ball, and I was working the clock, and it hit me square in the face and almost knocked me out. And you came over and said, hey, is he okay? Well, if he's not, get somebody else in there. We got to keep going.
I probably did.
That's what he said. So you want your managers to be tough, too.
Well,
We had to keep it going.
You had to be tough.
But those are memories I'll never forget, and I appreciate you for always treating me like I was a part of the team.
Well,
and,
you're a big part of the team because recruiting every night I'd take you because you knew where to go, where the
We
players
drive
were.
all over, sure.
We worked all the time recruiting.
Yeah, and it worked out pretty good. So great memories, but I know we both want to see that success back here for the Illini and the Orange and Blue.
Yeah, there's no reason why we can't do it. It's a great university, and we've got great people here, and it's going to come back. We need to get it, and I think John can get it done.
Coach Henson, Hall of Famer, and my friend and a mentor for a long time. Coach, glad to visit with you, and all the best.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right. That'll do it for this edition of RBI.